Hello, YouTubers. It is Thursday, October 31st, 2019. Happy Halloween and warm greetings from the High 10. Okay, this story is deriving out of Birmingham, Alabama. It is in connection to Miss Camille McKinney Cupcake, a relative of hers, a cousin by the name of Shantae Long, gave a statement to WVTM 13 News stating that she feels that this was a personal, targeted kidnapping against Cupcake, and she feels that it was devilish. It was personal, it was devilish, and it was wrong. She basically gave a statement on behalf of her cousin, I'm assuming in her own personal opinion, to this child's death. And she basically said that on a daily basis, she has talked to her cousin, and her cousin has asked, why are people fingering her uh, to this event, the child disappearing, and now the death of the child. Basically, she's saying that her Miss April Thomas was watching Cupcake play in the bouncy house, and that she went inside and she stayed in there for about 3 minutes, and she came out, and Cupcake was gone. So she looked for her. She looked for her, and she could not find her, and she knew something was wrong. So naturally, when Miss Long gave this statement to the news, she did not give a timeline of when these events transpired. So that's that. But she also states that her niece, who was the child who was in the video that was playing with Miss Camille, um, that that was her niece, Miss Shantae Long. Because naturally we never heard who the child was. We never heard of who the child's parent was. So maybe this is why she is making this claim right now that that it was that Camille was targeted. I guess because another child was there with Camille on this night, October 12th, the night of her disappearance. It is also stated in this interview that Miss Douglas, who is the reporter, is saying that the family as well does not think Starworth and Quintessa Jackson, which they used the alias Derica Brown, are the culprits in this case, and they do not know who would want to harm Cupcake. Miss Long also stated that besides her thinking that this was a personal target against a child, she feels like Stallworth was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that he has been set up and is taking the fall for the persons who exacted this murder. Now, this story is deriving from WVTM 13 News. If you need verification, I have given you the news station. Then you can check the story and watch the video yourself. Now, as to the commentary that Miss April gave Miss Long as far as being fingered out through Facebook. And naturally, the reporter made that mention in the video as well, that a lot of allegations were targeted toward the mother as far as her not minding her child. And so Miss Long states that April feels like people are blaming her for not watching her child. And my response to that is this, and there are many of you who also feel the same, some of you do not. But anyway, I'll speak for myself. I think people, excuse me, I think people point the finger at Miss Thomas because we never got another statement about the case itself. We never got another news feed with her rallying about her child or speaking of her child or any type of emotional um, interview, or just there was no interview ever given. Now, most of you may not know that the chief of police, Chief Smith, did not want Miss Thomas or family members to speak to the news. So they laid in the cut and never said another thing by advice from Mr. Smith, Chief Smith. Now, I personally have seen many cases where families, they talk, they rally, they want you to know their family member's name. They want you to know that they're missing. They want you to know that they are loved and that they want them home. So it was odd to me when I heard the news that he did not want her, and family members to speak to the public. I found that odd. Now, naturally, He is he is a professional. That was his choice. That was his call. But I think personally, it helped feed the rhetoric about the case and the child's disappearance at that time and still now, because a statement was never given from Miss Thomas. Okay, so naturally people started talking and assuming the worst and thinking, well, what's going on? People, everyone had their own speculation and assumptions of what was, transpiring with this case. And her not talking to the public again, people just assume, okay, what's going on? Why are we not hearing from the mother? Now, I'm telling you, the chief didn't want her speaking or any other family members. Naturally, the father gave statements. He also gave statements on a live feed in reference to who he thought was behind the kidnapping. And so those two interviews given by the parents, two or three interviews, maybe two from the father, and then one from Miss April. That was the last time you heard anything besides the live feed from the father giving his personal opinion on social media. And naturally, yes, negative commentation has been on social media and other news outlet comment pages and YouTube. And I think that's why people had their opinion that she did not watch her child, because we never got a timeline. And even in this interview that the cousin gives, Miss Shantae Long gives to Channel 13 News, still a timeline was not revealed in that interview, just that she was watching the child playing in the bouncy house, goes in for a couple of minutes, comes back out, child is gone. So that's the update on that. And I don't know what to say at this point. I've already given my opinion before that I felt that something was odd with this case, that something was odd with the child's disappearance, now death, and I still believe that there are more people involved. That is my personal opinion. Others think the same. We do not know because we are not the suspects. We're not the people who are involved. It's just our assumption, or some people may say their gut feeling. Okay. Mr. Stallworth and Quintessa Jackson will have a court appearance on Monday, November 4th, and it is a hearing. And at this hearing, this is when Mr. Stallworth is to have an attorney present, because when he appeared in court last week with Miss Jackson, he asked the judge to give him time, naturally, to seek counsel to represent him. And in that statement, he also told the judge he didn't know how he or why he was being arrested for this crime. And naturally, some of you speculated what that comment meant. And once again, speculations, assumptions ran amidst with that commentary that he gave in court. But November 4th, Monday, Mr. Stallworth and Miss Quintessa Jackson are to appear in court on the charge of capital murder. And we will see what transpires in the near future with this case. But also, before I check out of here, before the interview, the commentary ended, Miss Bria Douglas gave a commentary that also the family, some members, make sure I get that correct, that some members do not think Stallworth and Derica Brown, Quintessa Jackson, whichever name you like to use, are the culprits in this crime. They feel like they don't know who would want to harm Cupcake, but they do not believe, some family members, that Stallworth and Derica Brown are the people that committed this crime. They do not think they are involved. And that was a statement given to the local news, WVTM 13. So if you need verification on this story, please check out Channel 13 News. It is a live video that was given with commentary from Miss Shantae Long to Bria Douglas. So I'm checking out of here. I will bring you further updates on this riveting story and timeline, and we will check back. But let me say one more thing, because it's hard trying to remember everything, because I try not to use the notes because it's not as fluent when you're reading from a paper. I would say this, when, like I said, the mother is obviously perturbed or worried. I don't use we'll put words in anyone's mouth, but she's obviously feeling the heat from people's accusations that she didn't watch her child. But I guess my problem is, like I said, the timeline and why now, 2 weeks in from statements originally given by the parents, family members, Mr. Dominic's mother, why now is a statement being given? I'm very curious to that. I'm also curious to why the cousin was used as the mouthpiece to deliver this story, because this goes back to what I said, why some people may have felt amiss, something was amiss with the child's disappearance because they never heard again from the mother. And now here we are, almost 3 weeks into the child going missing. There's a statement being given by a cousin to a news outlet, and it is not coming from the mother. So one may still speculate, well, why is the mother not speaking herself about what happened that night, the whereabouts, the timeline? And I think that's what the main problem, and that's what got part of the reason the ball got crunk with all the assumptions and everything, is that the mother never spoke again from her initial interview. So I'm curious to that, why she did not speak on her own behalf. I guess it was yesterday or whatever. So drop your comments below, because I know most of you surely will. I'll give you an update, and we'll talk later. Bye-bye.